Welcome to another episode of the Good News Bay podcast, where we are diligently seeking to make Bay County brighter, one conversation at a time. I'm thrilled today to have a real bright spot in Bay County with us in the person of Kyle Schutz,
hey, man.
Who is a friend.
Yep.
He's a brother in Christ. He's a businessman locally. He is part owner or co-owner, I guess, in system services
and
engineering.
Yeah.
But also campus pastor at Calvary PC. Is that how you say it?
Calvary Panama City, yeah.
All right. And so I'm looking forward to getting to just have a conversation with you about a whole variety of things.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is nobody knows what to expect with these two guys that are pastors, but also love the business side and a lot of the things that are going on in our community. So real quick, you're a married man.
Yep, married. We just celebrated our 16th wedding anniversary.
Christina,
yeah. So she, like people talk about like finding, somebody that you marry in church or whatever. So she was didn't grow up in a traditional church, so she came to kind of get the whole confessional, hey, I want to get saved, give my life to the Lord. And I was waiting there with a pen and a piece of paper to get her phone number because I was like, hey, when I saw her, I was like, man, here that God's working this out for my good. This beautiful lady comes walking in here, and man, as soon as she got her life right with the Lord, man, hey, let me get those digits, girl. And so anyway, we've been married 16 years. Yeah, good thing.
That is awesome. How old were y'all when y'all met?
So she was actually 17. I think I was either about to turn 19. I was about 18, 19 years old. So we've been actually I've been chasing her for a long time. But yeah, we were pretty young.
Man,
pretty young.
That's good.
Yeah.
You got two girls.
Two girls. I got Kingsley, who's 13. She goes to Mowat Middle School. She is my volleyball star. Loves volleyball. Loves school. Musician, plays, sings. I've got Grayson. She's 10, and she's really come into this thing called sarcasm, and it's great. It's great. So that's how we communicate with each other in our house, through sarcasm. The only problem is she's 10 and she's better at it than me. But now I got two beautiful blonde-haired girls. They're pretty like their mom, and I'm pretty blessed, man.
Awesome. Well, hopefully they'll watch this and know how much you love them. Can you say hey to them?
Hey, Grace. There you go. Kingsley. You guys are my favorite.
Listen, nobody ever gets to see this side of you, Kyle.
Yeah.
You're known for being a businessman.
Yeah.
You're known for to be a guy that works hard.
Yeah.
I think you have an eye for detail, which is good. You grew up in Bay County.
Yeah.
Mosley grad?
Yeah.
Fair to say that?
Yeah, go Dolphins, yeah.
All right.
You're a Dolphin.
I am. I'm a 92 grad. You came along. I'm older than you, I think.
Yeah.
Like by probably a decade.
I just knew there was some kindred blood going there. I figured you might be Mosley.
Did you go to Mowat too?
No. I went to Merritt Brown because I'm from Bayou George. So back in the day, see, all the country kids, we went to Mosley. But before some of the country kids were allowed to come to Mowat, all us country folks went to Merritt Brown. So y'all are a little cooler than us. Y'all got to go to the city school, where us country folks, we had to go to Merritt Brown.
There was no Merritt Brown option.
Yeah.
I was a country kid, but there was just Mowat. Just like the beach kids these days, they could all go to Arnold. But when we were coming along, like when Christi was coming through, it was all the beach kids went to Bay High because that's all there was.
So Christina, her sister is 1 year older, and so Christina was a junior, and she did her junior and senior year at Arnold. Her freshman and sophomore year, she was at Bay. So
that is awesome.
Yeah, dating us a little bit.
So you are a pastor's son.
Man, yep.
Rich history at Central Pentecostal.
Yeah.
And but somewhere along the way, you decided to go into business.
Yeah, it's a really incredible story. So my dad recently retired. 40 years.
Pastor Don Schutz.
Central
Pentecostal. Local icon, really. I mean, he's been around here a long time.
My dad had an incredible career, super successful. I mean, honestly, now I've been a campus pastor for a year. I know you've been doing this a long time, but anybody that can be a pastor for more than 5 seconds deserves a gold medal. Because, a lot of people, I think they see, hey, man, that was an incredible message, or hey, man, that was a great worship set. But ministry isn't just what happens in an hour service. Ministry is the pressure of running the business of the church. It's the pressure of dealing with people on the side and trying to do God's will while navigating community and people. And so for Dad to do that for 40 years, I mean, just an incredible accomplishment. But yeah, so typical preacher's kid, if you want to flip over Webster's dictionary, troubled preacher's kid. My photo is right there.
Really?
Yeah, man. I gave my parents a run for their money, off and on. Not too bad. I don't think I never made it in the back of a Bay County Sheriff's cop car or anything, but I definitely gave them a run.
That's actually good.
Yeah. Well, so I think you've had Sheriff on here
Sheriff
before.
Forbes
So
has been on here.
I'd never met him in that capacity. I just,
I hope you don't aspire to meet him in that capacity. Tell me, it's intriguing to me that you started a business that it's been quite a successful business.
Yeah.
We talk some on here. I like this term, and you're from the ministry side of it. I love this term, spiritual entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
We live in a world that's changing constantly, and we're having to identify how do you make it go, even though it's not what it was yesterday. And you've had to apply that to business. But I think it's a lot of guys when they start a business. It's no knock for guys that just are happy to be a one truck kind of business. You've progressed well beyond that, and it's a struggle to do that.
It is. I think we got up to around 200 employees for a while, and the idea of there's kind of this buzzword, why? What's your why? And if you're just doing something to make a living, then you can always change things to where it just supplies you a living. But when you want to make impact, or you want to create opportunity, or you want to do something significant, then that is not a mind thing. That's a mind and a soul gut thing. And you can identify people that are going to do something significant because somewhere there's a connection between a mind thing and then a soul thing, spiritual entrepreneurship, whatever you want to call it. And there are those people out there that have that. Honestly, I was watching Shields and Zach Sanchez. Those guys, incredible. They have like the drive, they have the fire, and the culture inside their business. It's a faith-based business. Their culture is there. But they're excited to do something significant other than just, hey, we're going to make a living. Not only are we going to make a living, we're going to make a living well and create opportunities for other people, make a difference. And I think that there's not a lot of people out there that want to do that.
It draws me. There's a little motto. I think this is y'all's motto: where reputation, family, and servanthood are our values. Is that out of the company book someplace?
So that's depending on what translation you read out of the Bible. There's 100 of them. They took that out of the Message Bible. No, I'm just kidding. But so reputation, servanthood, and family. That some of those are really the Bible says that a man's a good name is worth more than riches and gold. So really, reputation falls within that. Family, obviously it isn't just about supporting families, it's about the family of business. So a lot of times in companies, somebody gets cancer, somebody gets sick, somebody goes through a difficulty. We wanted to have the business to be strong enough that when people walk through difficulty, that the business didn't have to retract for them for cost reasons, that we could really step up and support them financially, which we've been able to do most of the time, Lord willing. Hopefully we can sustain that. And then servanthood. I can't really take any credit for this, but I heard a speaker talking about one time about the organizational chart of heaven is really this upside down triangle where the CEO is at the bottom. And I'm sure you probably preached this 100 times. I think I've heard you. I stalk your stuff online, man. I listen to you. I listen to a lot of your videos, man. You're doing some really great stuff. I have a lot of respect for it. Okay. But with Jesus is in the upper room. He is the same guy standing in the garden and says, hey, let there be light. And he's standing there and says, now let us make man. This same being is in the upper room, and he girds himself up and he begins to wash the feet of the disciples. And not only does he wash their feet, he washes the feet of the people that are going to betray him. And so the idea of servant leadership is not what you can do for me, but what can I do for you? And I heard a guy talk about how there was a joke. So all of you that are like Air Force people in Bay County, please do not send me any hate mail on Facebook.
There's a few of those watching.
Hey, for sure. But there was this guy. Hey, I was at an event recently, and the guy was saying how the Air Force, it's all about the lay people supporting the pilot. But in the Marines, it is the officer supporting the field. And I really think a lot of times that the kingdom of heaven works that way. And we have tried to make our business the same way, that it's the job of the officers to support the field. And it's really this upside down triangle of servanthood leadership.
So I am 100% with you on the biblical concept of servant leadership.
Yeah.
I think it matters. I think it's God's way. I'm curious, though, about the practical side, because my gut tells me that people want to work at a place like turnover rate ought to be smaller because people want to be a part of something that where they count, where community is there. People are really hungry for that now. Yeah. Have you seen it as because you've tried to create that culture in the business, right?
It's for sure. I think there you can feel a shift going on, which I realize a lot of it's about your podcast, about bringing good news. But honestly, I feel like there's kind of a shift going on in the community, really, and we can feel that inside of our business because people are saying, "Hey, man, there's something bigger than just paycheck. There's something bigger than just what I'm dealing with right now." And so, if you have an employee that's making, let's say that for math, he's making $100 a week working for us, or he can make $110 a week for working somebody else. Well, obviously, we want to match wages. We want to make sure that we're competitive. But what about culture and the vibe? Would he be willing to make $10 less working for us because the culture is that great? So you're walking through Main Street, Disney World. You ever take your family to Disney World?
Yeah.
There's this guy, like as soon as you get through the gates of Disney World, and he is sweating his behind off, selling those $50 balloons that your kid is like screaming and yelling, "Please buy me this balloon." But inside you want to say, "I'm not spending $50 on a balloon." So this guy is making $9 an hour standing in the heat to sell this balloon. But he is so excited about being a part of the family of Disney that he loves selling that balloon for $9. Now, granted, we don't pay $9 an hour, but if Disney can do that, how much more, us faith-based business owners, right, people of the kingdom, why can't we inspire that? Because we're not Disney World, we're Christians. And I think that what we have should be more inspiring than Mickey Mouse or Walt. But trying to create that culture inside of a business is tough. It's very tough because not everybody subscribes to that.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. I think you said you were up to over 200 employees at one time. How long has your business been around? I mean, it's still relatively new.
We're still a baby. So we celebrated 9 years this past summer, and it has been, my partner and I joke. His name's Bruce Cannell. I think he's turning 55. But he drinks out of the fountain of youth. He looks my age, and he's 55, and I'm like Benjamin Button, where I'm young, but I look old. So this
I would not agree.
Hey, these 9 years it has been. I've gotten more gray hairs, and then I realize this is you are Dr. Pastor Steve Taylor. And when you kind of get older, where you have those hairs that grow in places, you're like, my God, when did this start happening? So that's kind of been happening, but probably from the stress of building.
It doesn't get better.
No.
I hate to tell you.
No. 9 years. It's been an incredible ride.
So, from a business perspective, in this last number of years, I mean, you've had to adjust with the punches. I mean, you've grown this business in these 9 years. Some of those have included a downturn in the economy relative to an oil spill, which, I mean, everything affects everything. You've got the pandemic has been part of it. And so just keeping staffing, making protocols to even figure out how do you service the public.
Yeah.
And then the hurricane itself has been part of it. I mean, even from a construction standpoint, the volume has been incredible.
Yeah.
But you still have to figure out how do you even answer the phone calls that you get during say a post hurricane kind of deal.
I think we kind of joke about it, like what next. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned the oil spill. I think a lot of people forget we had an oil spill, and it did a lot of it shut a lot of tourism and resort business down.
We didn't have any oil, but it still told the whole world that Florida wasn't open.
It told the whole world we were shut down. So our service business, we felt that. We had Hurricane Michael. We felt that, and even though it provided some immediate work, really, I mean, when you think about it from the perspective of running a business, you have to have cash coming in. So when you are a young starting business, and I can't get cash for 6 weeks, 8 weeks. So imagine, like for one of some of your viewers, imagine you can't get paid for 8 weeks. Do you have the capital in your checking account that you can sustain yourself and your family not getting a check for 8 weeks, 6 weeks, because the mail isn't running? And the people that are paying you, they can't get into their bank accounts because their checks are soaking wet.
Right.
And so that was very trying, and then COVID has just, God bless us all working through COVID. But, then we actually, so there was this thing, you remember where everybody was going through ransomware? So we actually got hacked. I don't know if you guys experienced that here on the Coast, but we got hacked to where we got held hostage by some of those overseas hackers. So we had to pay a consulting company to come rebuild our server. It was just this huge, just very, very stressful. So we had just instance after instance after instance after instance. And, I was just trying to, if you just flip through the Bible saying, Lord, can you give me something to encourage me? Because I just cannot take not one more thing. But here we are.
Yeah.
We made it.
I've said this a couple of times, like in our services. I hadn't said it on a podcast, but I've been studying resiliency. And even in the business world, it sounds profound. It's really not. But those that are most resilient, they've determined are people that have been through some stuff. Like the more you go through, the more resilient you become.
Yeah.
And so if I'm looking at good news with all of this, because we're talking about some heavy stuff, but the fact is your company's has to have gotten your leadership, your employees more resilient all the time.
Well, I think over the last couple of years, I'm starting to realize, that I really love my hometown.
Me too.
I really do. Zach, I can't believe Zach told this story. Zach Sanchez, why would you do this to my kid? But so Zach was telling the story. So my daughter's singing the national anthem. So he tells the story on the whole world watching your podcast. And I love it.
He did say it on pretty.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm standing there at the edge of the stage, and my daughter is singing the national anthem. And,
was this at chamber dinner?
Yeah, it's a chamber dinner.
Okay.
Place is packed.
Yep.
And I'm sitting on the edge of the stage. It's like a cold sweat. Like I can feel a stream of sweat running.
Everybody's dressed to the nines.
Oh yeah,
nice meal.
And so,
spotlight on your daughter.
If you've ever met Sandy Sims with Gold Power, she is. I owe her a dinner at Firefly or someplace great because she helped my kids so much. But anyway, so Kingsley she freezes. She freezes. And, my heart is beating out of my chest. Any parent in that moment, you're thinking, my Lord, have mercy. And so all of a sudden, just for a few seconds, there was a pause, and the whole town began to sing the national anthem. And it was funny because I almost found myself overwhelmed with emotion because, what was really a stressful moment for my kid, we as a community got to participate in helping someone through a difficulty. And I think I sat down and I was just kind of quiet for just a second because I realized that it ain't all bad. And our town is not riddled with lots of bad people. There are a lot of wonderful people in our city.
There are
that are doing a lot of wonderful things. And Zach, he made a really good point because I think Zach, maybe myself and one other, probably drew that conclusion. Like we have a wonderful place that we live.
We do.
Yeah.
God has blessed this place. Part of what makes our community so special is there are so many families that are hardworking folks. There are a bunch out there that do love the Lord, and there are a bunch of folks that love what Bay County stands for.
Yeah.
The idea of independence, the idea of entrepreneurship as well. We live in a beautiful place, though, don't we? Even on the worst day, the sunrise and the sunset is going to be pretty great, pretty awesome.
It is.
And when I look back to resilience, one of the things that, like last night, we had our Wednesday night supper, and about 3:00 in the afternoon, they named a tropical storm, right?
Oh.
And I'm thinking, Mindy, who cares, right? We're gonna do Wednesday night supper anyway. We're gonna have church, and we did, but nobody thought anything of it.
It's just what we do.
It's no big deal.
Let's bring it on.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Bring it on.
So listen, you've got tremendous respect by a bunch of folks in Bay County for what God's done with the business.
Yeah.
You've said already, and I learned today, the church that you pastor is going to be a year old Sunday.
Yeah.
Is that right?
1 year. Yeah, we're celebrating our 1 year anniversary.
So Calvary PC.
Calvary Panama City. Yeah.
I'm going to make you do this. You told me I didn't have to. I'm going to make you do it
No.
anyway. Tell me where is this place? It's on Wilson Avenue. Right?
Hey, so not to totally mess up with the Dunn. So actually, not to give kudos to Dr. Dunn, but Leah Dunn we're renting from them.
Okay.
So who would ever think nobody wants to lease a building to a startup church because it's a little bit of risk. We moved into the old D-Tech building on Wilson Avenue, kind of where Bay Credit Union is off 231, and then where Lowe's and Home Depot. So we're kind of tucked behind Mission Barbecue and all that. So it's a freestanding metal building, and it's very nice. They had remodeled after the hurricane, so we really didn't have to do anything with it. But we took the warehouse And literally, we have church in a warehouse on Sundays. But we tricked it out. It's really cool. And
you got air conditioning, right?
Man, we have air conditioning.
Because I know an air conditioning.
Hey, there's one thing. One thing that you will not do at Calvary is sweat.
The AC guy's always on call, isn't he?
He's always on call. But I did. This is really sad. This happened to me when I was a kid. So I was sitting in the back, and we were taking care of the AC at my dad's church.
Yeah.
And just the AC was shutting down, and all the heads began to spin because everybody knows it's your fault. It's getting hot in here, and you're the AC guy. And so we had the same problem at Calvary, and I thought, this is really bad because I'm fixing to get up and just say something about Jesus. It's getting hot in here. They know we put this in here. Like, what this is really stressful. So, like, how can you play that off? So I just began to talk about, I really wanted to begin to lay the groundwork so you guys could understand what hell is going to be like. And about how hot it's going to be. And that was the only segue that I could talk about to alleviate the pressure and the embarrassment I had at that moment because we were sweating.
Well, I don't want to make you feel any less pressure, but I will tell you.
Did we do something here at your church to make your people sweat?
No. I was just going to say that I'm not an AC guy, and I hear about AC every single week.
Yeah.
I mean, and I have every year I've ever been in ministry anywhere. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. I got you.
So, hey, you guys are on Wilson Avenue. Y'all meet on Sundays now, right?
Yeah, we're meeting on Sundays at 10:15 on Sunday mornings.
And then you do Wednesday nights.
So we do. What we have now is we have busted into small groups. That's if you grew up good old Southern Baptist, good old Methodist, whatever. You got to have your Sunday school group. But I've noticed that you guys are doing some small groups too, which I think is really powerful. And you can attest to this too. But I think a lot of times people come to church services and church is great. Get a great word from a great pastor, which you are. But sometimes you like that being able to be connected, and so I think sometimes traditional folks were a little slow to move away from Sunday school, but we're really purposeful about small groups, being able to get people together. So during the week we run a lot of small groups, and then one Wednesday night a month we just basically throw a big family night.
Cool. We're going to have a link, I'm sure, here with contact info. People can find you online, find your Facebook page.
Yeah. I
know a few of the people that are part of your team. And they're fine folks, and you're blessed to have them. Yeah. They love the Lord, and they're folks that anybody that's looking that doesn't have a church home. And we're finding people that are feeling isolated because they hadn't been around folks. They've been scared to be around people. They've been scared they're going to get sick. And I think I'm prayerful. We're about to move to a place where people are ready to re-engage. Yeah. And I'm hopeful that your place will be one of the places they find.
No, absolutely. I was thinking on the way over here, it's obviously, we're business people, and my partner and I own a business, but, really our whole goal in life is really, it's ministry. And I think some people always think that ministry is just the moment with the microphone, but ministry is life. And, you invited me to your podcast to, really kind of tell the good news. But if it's cool, I mean, the director's like giving me any stink eye right here. But, really, man, I think a lot of times there's this kind of stigma in churches that we're all on competitive teams. We're all trying to pull from the same pool of people. And, you're very kind to say some things about us. But, I see you at chamber events. You do a lot of the invocations, and I see you in the community doing things for the community. And those things, when you look at the business of a church, those are not profit gainers. Those are not, wins where the congregation is applauding, "Hey, Pastor." But, I'm privileged to have made a friend in you. I've gotten to see you not just live the life behind your microphone, which I have gotten to hear you preach, and I enjoy hearing you preaching. But you're the real deal, man. You really love the Lord. I think you love our town, and to be willing to do a podcast with me, it means a lot, because I think that there are people in our city saying, "Hey, man, is this real? Like, this whole Jesus stuff, is this real?" And is it real enough that pastors can get past their stigma of their denomination, their four walls, that they love Jesus enough to where they'll work together, be friends, and fellowship together? And, I just see you constantly pushing past those walls, and from the outside looking in, I know we don't have lunch and spend a lot of time together, but I appreciate what you're doing. I really do. I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate what your church stands for and what you're trying to do in our community. And if nobody tells you, I believe you're making a difference.
Thank you for that, brother. you were. I'm not even sure how to respond except to say thank you. I will tell you that, and you know this because your daddy's a preacher, but that just like preachers' kids are human, so are pastors, and I think some of that desire to do well and to make a difference in people's lives, it naturally elicits. I don't know, maybe insecurities at times. I will say though that it's my heart's desire, and I think I'm 100% confident it's yours as well, to see Jesus made known.
Yeah.
We don't talk a ton about Jesus on the podcast. I separate it from the church a little bit, not that it is separate.
Yeah.
Because I think that the good, there is a lot of really great things in Bay County. That at some level, I think all the glory for that goes back to God.
Right.
But I don't think all of them are directly correlated with gospel every day.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying really hard to encourage people that may not have a faith background.
Yeah.
But you and I both know that at the end of the day, the heart of why we do what we do, whether it's HVAC or it is ministry or it is being in the community, it's all for us.
Yeah.
And, I think if anybody tries it, they'll find out that Jesus is real. But for you and me, it is real.
Yeah, I had this lady who actually goes to your church, who will remain nameless. She'll remain nameless. She is an organizational expert, so I'm giving her some props. You should definitely start your business. Spend some time with her. Just raved about you, raved about your church. But she gave me this. She gave me a scenario about how God was organized when He created the world. And every time He would do something, He would say that it was good. And it may be a message that you preached to God.
Huh.
Is this what it is? Did you preach this?
No.
Oh, this lady.
Not yet.
It was so powerful. So she said how God lined out the creation.
I just, in my mind, the light went off because I'm like following in the scripture. That's what that is.
Yeah. So when you start looking at how on the first day He just created darkness and light, just very simple, two things.
And He said it was good.
And as He went through the week, it got more and more complicated towards the end of His week, and then He had the Sabbath. But she was talking to me about organization, structure, how to manage my day, because I have a lot of things going, trying to be a pastor and trying to be a businessman. I want to be a good husband and dad too. But she was talking about how these tasks and how God outlined His week out, and how we as people sometimes why didn't we create man on the first day and darkness and light, separate those, and why didn't He do the bird? Why didn't you do it all in one day? But God unpacked that thing through 7 days, and so I think sometimes we're always looking for this massive gospel moment, this massive revival moment in a church, this massive hey, we flipped a switch, now we're a big business. It is, hey, we separate the darkness from light. Let's step back at it and look, it's good. And I think it's those moments where, hey, you know what, Kingsley froze on her words. You know what, we're going to sing together. You know what, it's good. Hey, or we're standing at the gas station and, you're having a bad day and somebody you don't know says, hey, how are you doing, man? You look like you're having a bad day. Man, just talk. And you have this conversation, and it's in that moment you just step back, and it's nothing spectacular. It's just, man, it's good. And I think there's a lot of good going on in our town. And I appreciate you bringing it to light.
Well, tell me real quick about the chamber, because there's some good in the chamber.
Yeah.
Chamber's been through the same mess that everybody else has been through, pandemics and hurricanes and all that.
Yeah.
But it looks like to me that they're starting to be able to open back up a little bit as far as attendance at some of the events and that kind of thing.
So the chamber meets for First Fridays at Florida State University, and Dr. Randy Hanna is really an incredible guy, letting that space get used. But so far, FSU's protocol, they've released allowing us to meet on First Fridays. But, the chamber, you figure, the chamber is funded by membership. And so when the community went through COVID, so did the chamber. When the community went through a hurricane, so did the chamber. And, Carol Roberts has been the CEO of the chamber for a long time. That is probably one of the toughest women I have ever met. She does a lot of behind the scenes stuff. But I think for where the chamber is and what it's had to navigate, that is a resilient. You want to talk about resiliency? That is a resilient organization. It does a lot of good, and just when the chamber could come back together, and we started having First Fridays again. It was seeing people come together. They were so excited to see each other. It's usually you get together, you network, and spend time checking on each other. I think people were just glad to see each other. I mean, it's like that after the hurricane moment when you get to come meet your neighbor you never met because the fence is down kind of moment.
Yeah.
Then it was a lot of those moments. Yeah.
That's good. Well, hopefully, too, the fact that there was a full stadium over in Tallahassee at Florida State.
Yeah.
Hopefully that bodes well for there being good attendance at some of the other events we have locally.
Yeah, I hope so.
We won't dig into the football stuff, though.
Well, I felt like it might go there, but I thought, I probably better not because we didn't talk about good news.
Right.
Today, so
That's right. We won't make any enemies.
We're going to say that. Go on.
Tell me, what do you like to do in your free time? This is not in the script any space, but I'm just curious. Like whenever, I mean, I'm assuming spend some time with your girls, right?
I do. We this sounds crazy, but our pastime is I have an old Jeep. So I had a Jeep in high school, and I thought I was cool for about 5 minutes because I had this Jeep. And so I bought me, I'm pushing 40 now, so I had a little midlife moment. So me and my partner flew to Atlanta, found this Jeep, it's already jacked up, got 35s. My Bayou George was showing big time.
Yeah, you said 35s. I mean, that's I got it.
I feel good. So anyway, I'll load up in my Jeep.
You can feel it when you say it.
Oh yeah. Like when this is standard. That.
Yeah.
Remember those days?
Yeah.
So we go to Dave and Buster's, and that's kind of our thing to do. But me personally, I love to fish, freshwater or saltwater. But I love to bird hunt.
Really?
I love to duck hunt. I love to quail hunt. I'm an avid bird hunter. And
I'm going to test you on that. Can I do that? Can I put you on the spot?
Go ahead.
Duck season's coming in, right? There's going to be a weekend here soon.
Yeah.
In dove season, I'm not a bird hunter, but those are all things that are fixing to happen for us here locally, right?
Well, I think if you're not a bird hunter, you should be.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was thinking, this oh boy, this is good news, and Zach Sanchez saying that in the microphone, was able to bring us in the conversation that I think Zach should furnish us with 2 of the nicest over and unders that CNG has.
Oh my!
And I think that Pastor Steve Taylor and Zach Sanchez, I think that we should get a quail hunt or something together and do that. Yeah, honestly, to me,
I don't think that's good news for Zach.
Hey, it is. But
so you like all bird hunting?
I love it. Quail hunting is a lot of fun because they're working dogs, and it's I can't deer hunt very well because my brain runs 100 miles an hour.
You can't sit still.
I cannot sit still. So there's an email that needs to be responded to. There's a text that needs to be responded to. There's something I need to read. So I can't sit in a deer stand. But quail hunting, you're moving the whole time.
Yeah.
And so, you and I can have a relatively calm, quiet conversation and still be able to participate in the hunt, and you're moving. And I got into that several years ago, and I love quail hunting, love bird hunting. Duck hunting is good because I got in a little bit of trouble. And so I realized my wife may watch this. Uh-oh. But the idea is, so when you go hunting, if you got your buddies to go.
Your kids may too.
Yeah, it's okay. I have a Proverbs 31 wife. Just kidding. So,
attaboy.
Yeah, it's for you, babe. It's for you. So, duck hunting, you can get up early. You can go set up in your duck blind. Literally, because we don't have like this great flyway where you're going to shoot ducks for hours for the most part. No. 30, 45 minutes, boom, duck hunt, got to pick up your birds, and you're at the house. So that worked out good for us because I can get up before daylight, I can shoot birds. By the time I get home, nobody's even awake yet because it's still, a Saturday morning. I'm getting home 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. So, I'm cooking breakfast, I'm with camo, and I can get to go spend the day with them, and I don't get in trouble at all because I haven't cramped into the family time at all.
So that's a great news for the family man out there.
Yes,
it's a great new shooting sport.
Yeah, if you're looking for something to get into where you won't cramp your family style, duck hunting is where it's at.
All right, this is good news.
Yeah, good news.
This is real good news. I like it, brother. Thank you for sharing something personal. That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen, we are thrilled. I'm thrilled. I'm proud to have such a fine business establishment, but also family man, somebody that loves Jesus. Yeah, wants to make things so that other families can win. Yeah, win at life. Yeah, be successful in a way that honors God, and it is a cool thing to be literally on the same team, trying to make a difference in the community. It's great news. It's great news that God is blessing what you guys are doing at Calvary PC. I hope some folks will check it out.
Yeah, thanks.
And I appreciate you sharing a little bit. You may not feel like there's a ton to give on the business side, but I'm telling you, there's some guys out here that want to hear some about that you've shared about how you've walked through some of the things you've walked through.
Absolutely.
So appreciate you helping us share.
Yeah,
some
thanks for the
goodness.
invite. I was so honored to get the text and to be able to be a part of what you're doing, man. And you're doing good things, and I'm excited to be connected with you.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to our podcast today. If you were encouraged by the good news, we would ask you to subscribe through Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, as well as YouTube. If you will subscribe, all new content will come your way. You'll get notified of it, and it'll help us to brighten Bay County. Thanks, guys.